Hey guys, so this is a video that I'm making that I thought would be kind of useful. This is supposed to go based off of Achievement Hunter's video by Trevor on how to edit a Let's Play. I originally was following this when trying to edit our stupid fun time Let's Plays, but I just found that uh, there was just a lot different between Achievement Hunter setup and our setup. So in Achievement Hunter setup, they have it such that each of the main six they record their um, gameplay, and they also have their own mics with a pretty complicated setup that I'm not sure how, I know how it works, where their mics are plugged into one computer that's or maybe even their own computers, and they're all recording their own audio. So the way that Trevor does it, as you can see probably somewhere right here, this is all their gameplay. This is all their gameplay audio, and this is all their commentary where they have to manually sync that. The difference between that and what we have is that we just use OBS. I'm using OBS right now to record this. Here's the infinite OBS loop. Um, we use OBS and nothing else, so we're recording Overwatch or whatever game we're playing, and we're also recording our Skype call or whatever we're using uh, uh, to communicate with. So I just hope that you guys find this useful, and I'm going to show you how to deal with that with multiple gameplay footage that has relatively the same audio, since in OBS I am recording, or each of us are recording the gameplay audio, the Skype call or communication call, and our own mic. So first of all, just to open up a new project, I'm calling these all Let's Plays in Overwatch. This is the third one. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my LP Overwatch folder where I have all of our source clips. Chris doesn't have any right now. We're going to go and record later. But right now, Joseph and I, we do have one. I already used this one. I think this is the earliest one, the 1934. So I'm going to go and import my 1946. And I'm also going to import, there's probably a faster way to do this, but this is how I know to do, Joseph's 1946. Before I do that, let me just rename this. Add gameplay. I know that's wrong, but whatever. Joseph in his 1946. Joe gameplay, and let's fix this. Thank you for doing that for me. Joe gameplay. Now I did see Achievement Hunter's video, but more specifically by Trevor on how he did this. Um, he did it by just importing each of the gameplay videos and then doing a name burn for each one and then rendering them out, which I thought was a lot of overkill. It's a lot of extra time wasted, especially right now we have average 3 clips that we have to go in, add the name burn for, and then render that out. So what I'm going to do here is under Joseph, let's see if I remember if I just did this yesterday. Under Joseph, let's do new item, title, Joe name, just saying Joe, just so I'm the only one using this. I just need that to differentiate it. Joseph, pick big noodle tilting, oblique, and since this is something that I will be using, might as well do this perfect now. Joseph, I have a sticky note. Joseph is blue. Outer stroke, I prefer 15 for the outer stroke on Joseph's name. And then fill type will make it blue 255. Okay, so Joseph is now blue. And then you saw how I did that there in the beginning. I just took Joseph's gameplay, dragged it here, and that created the Joseph sequence. So I'm just editing the Joseph sequence right now. So I'll add the Joe name here. And then let me just make this title go through all his whole gameplay. So as you see right here, Joseph's gameplay will be name burned with him. Alright, so now that's all him. Let's create a new bin, Joseph. Let's create a new bin, Edward. So let's get all these for Joseph, put them in there. Get me, put them in me. Here. So now that Joseph's is done, that's the easy one. Drag it here into the empty sequence to automatically create its sequence. Now for me and anybody else, what I do is I right click on the new source, new sequence from clip, blah blah blah, and then here it does it for me. So this one is Joseph's, this one is mine. The reason why I create two different sequences for both of our gameplays is so that the title stays with the gameplay. If I were not do this, not create different sequences for both of us, oh shoot, where'd it go? Then it would just be Edward Joseph right on top of each other, Joseph Edward. Here, so here I'm going to create the new item title for myself, name, title tool, click here, Edward, big noodle tilting, something I downloaded off the internet, oblique, downloaded it because it is the most similar to the Overwatch font, and I am red, so it should be 255 on the red. Exit out of that, add name goes to the Edward bin for cleanliness, add name here, and move this all the way down for there. So there's Joseph and there's me, both with our own name burns. I need to fix this. Just lining it up with this top left corner there. Doesn't have to be perfect because I don't think people are gonna be too anal about that. As long as it's generally in the same spot, we should be good. Alright, so then that's it for that. So now what I'm going to do is, rather than take the source footage, I believe this is the source footage, we're going to look at both of these sequences, because these are now the quote-unquote rendered videos, what Trevor did in his Achievement Hunter video, without having to do the whole rendering. So what I'm going to do is click on Add Gameplay, Control-click on Joe Gameplay, the sequences, right-click, and then create multicam source sequence. So I'm going to do this, create multicam source sequence. These don't really matter in my opinion. We just want the video clip name plus multicam. It could be whatever you want, I guess. But the next most important thing here is to choose audio. Your synchronized point might be somewhere else, but since Joseph, Chris, and I, we're all talk over Skype, our audio is relatively the same with our Skype conversations. So we're going to go audio, mix down, sequence preset automatic. I don't believe these matter. The next thing that does matter is sequence settings, switch audio. I'll get to that in a little bit, but I set this to here. Audio channel stereo, camera name enumerate. This doesn't really matter. The two things that do matter here is audio. We're going to sync on audio, and the audio sequence settings is going to switch the audio. I'm going to hit OK here, and it's going to take a little bit to process. And now, add multicam gameplay. Oops, just trying to double click this. I forget how to do this. Hold on. Reveal in Project Explorer. Open in timeline. Open in timeline. No, that was not it. You right click it just like what we did with me. Right click it, new sequence from clip. Add gameplay multicam. And now this is where we go to edit this. Right now it's just me because I was quote unquote the top most. If you double click here, let me see. Is it this one? Whatever. Okay. So once you do that, you don't have to worry about anything. You're just going to start editing here. To adjust, to edit multicam, because right now it's just me, it's not Joseph. or Chris or however many people you have, you're going to click this wrench right here. And then from composite view, which you might have on default, you're going to click on multi-camera. And then this way, it'll show all of the gameplay sequences or all the gameplay footage here all synchronized. As you can see right here, Joseph, he started recording first. That's how what he usually does. If we were to listen to um, our commentary, Joseph's like, "Oh yeah, are we recording?" Blah blah blah. And if I move here, 15 seconds in, I should also be recording now. And you can switch between my view and Joseph's view, and you can see that it does have our name burns stuck to our gameplay. It's easier for me to tell because I play with the Overwatch's information display just so I know my FPS and my ping at the moment. Joseph doesn't, so it's just easy in this scenario. I'm going to insert this somewhere, but one quick thing I forgot to note when I was looking at the final tutorial was when you click on this wrench and you switch to the multicam view, it does enable you to see all the sources. But one thing that I noticed when I was following Trevor's Achievement Hunter tutorial was that although in our case we all are on Skype. Our setup is pretty basic. OBS is recording every single piece of audio coming out of our computer. So it's recording Overwatch, and it's recording our Skype call, and it's recording my each one of our mic inputs, um, which is how this tutorial kind of differs from the Achievement Hunter video, is that each source has its own audio. Mine, it's me uh, mainly recording Joseph and Chris over Skype, and it has my Overwatch audio. So everything I'm doing as I think since I'm Hanzo this game, you're only going to hear Hanzo. So when we do switch to Joseph or Chris or whoever else, you're still going to only hear me, but you are going to hear Joseph, Chris, whoever else. You're going to hear them over Skype, which doesn't sound pleasing to the ear. So the one thing that you need to make sure that you check when you created the multicam source, when you with the audio settings, the switch audio. So what that does is it enables you to do this. Multicam audio follows video, something that I found on my own after days of trying to Google to fix this. So once you pick the multicam view, also make sure that this is checked so that when you switch sources, uh, as you can see, kind of see down here, the waveforms are changing. These are my waveforms, and now you see that this is my sequence right here. We're going to switch to Joseph's sequence. Now it's Joe gameplay, and the waveforms are different because now it's using Joseph's audio as the main. So if Joseph were to alt now or to do something as Genji, we would hear him scream his alt versus only taking all the audio from me while I'm Hanzo or Lucio not doing stuff which doesn't sound or look good. So now we want to edit and switch between cams. For this part, I just say start here and just let this play out. Listen to who's talking. I prefer just putting the main view on whoever's talking at the moment. The next criteria on who should be the foreground is whoever has something interesting, because although somebody is saying something, somebody might be getting a nice snipe, a good ult, blah blah blah, something interesting. So here, let's play like 15 seconds. Okay, so yeah, so as you heard there, I missed my recording button. That's why I didn't start at the same time as Joseph, but thanks to Adobe Premiere, when we created the multicam sequence, these two should be synchronized. So here, let's edit this. I believe Joseph says something here, and then I say something here. So Joseph says here, I'm going to be Genji, and then I'll say I'll be your brother. I'll be Hanzo. So here, this whole beginning part will just be Joseph's gameplay, since up here I don't have any footage, any usable footage. go here, Joseph, I'm gonna be Genji, and then here, I'll be your brother. I'm gonna cut right here. You could press C to enable the cutting tool to cut there. Um, Press V to go back to the selection tool. You could, in this window, wherever the time scrubber is, you can do Control K. That will also do that. And then what you can do from here, when you know you want to switch to me, because right now this is Joseph, or um, what we did is split this up into two. So now this is Joseph's cam, still Joseph's cam. So it's a seamless, it's like there's no cut there. What I'm going to do is make sure that this scrubber is over this, I don't know what to call it, this part of the sequence. And I'm just going to click on me, and it's going to change right there, add gameplay. So this is now switched to my view. If I didn't explain this before, up here, this is what the final product is going to be, and this is just all the multicam sources. So you could keep playing it and just watch each one of them to see which one's the most interesting. But here, let's see. I cut right there just so it could cut to me when I say I'm going to be your brother. So see that, so that works. Sometimes if they're talking too close to each other, let's say if my waveform was a little bit closer to Joseph's, there's a possibility because of lag that that Joseph can be like, I'm gonna be Genji, but if I did this cut and just did this switch and didn't do anything else to my footage, I could it's theoretically possible that the outcome could be like this. Joseph's Genji, and I'm just not synced, even though Adobe tried its best to sync it up, because there's always that lag when we're talking over the internet. So what you can do here is if you do the cut, you switch over to my gameplay or whichever gameplay you want, and that's not right, you could always pull this up and do the reverse of what I did earlier, pull this back so there's till there's some dead space there uh, here, and then just replay that. Just so that there's enough room. There's just some things you have to note. Make sure that you do want some. It's preferable to have some dead noise there, just so it sounds nicer, and so you don't switch over to me and then hear Joseph here, like this scenario. If you were to hear Joseph still, that wasn't a good one. But if this was back far enough, we don't want to hear I'm gonna be Genji and then here I'm gonna be Genji and then I'm gonna be your brother. You just want to just manipulate that the best you can. Another good tool here, let me just move this here. If I say I didn't cut it, this kept going. If I cut this here and then switch this to be my gameplay again, um, you can press N and this will move your cut so it's easier for you to edit, so you don't have to maneuver one and then adjust. So you could just click here and move this, so this will still be Joseph's gameplay, and then it switches to my gameplay. So again, I press the N button, and to go back to the regular pointer, just push V. So that's pretty much it for my tutorial here. It went a lot longer than I thought. I believe I covered most everything here. You just need to make sure that when you're looking back at this, everything sounds pretty good. I also just looked at my OBS recording and I just realized that none of the audio that is coming out of Premiere is going to be recorded in the final footage. But just take my word, this part said Joseph said I'm gonna be Genji, and here I said I'm gonna be Hanzo. So just it's another thing to keep in mind. Just look at the waveforms, double click on this to expand it, just so you know when's a good time to cut. But aside from that, that should be it for my quick tutorial. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.